Hey, what's going on? It's Mike the Bee Man. Hope everybody had a great Christmas, New Year's. I wish all y'all a happy New Year and a prosperous year. Possibly could be happening soon. Don't know. First, let me get it out of the way. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial investor. Anything I say is not financial advice. Do your own research, blah, blah, blah. So, anyway, I don't have too much to say on bees because it's so freaking slow. Even though we have bipolar weather here down in my part of the country, it'd be 80 one day and 50 the next. It's just crazy. So today I'm kind of working on some rodent control and actually wildlife stuff. So I have an actual one-way door that allows it to come out, the squirrel to come out, but he can't get back in. And I did a repellent on the inside to get them out if they were in there. I try to do mostly humane tactics. So I'm going to talk a little bit more on crypto today than wildlife and everything else. I will make some more videos on that. I'm actually thinking about making a whole new channel, but basically for more pest control and stuff like that, because I'm here to help y'all. If I have any tips for y'all when it comes to pest control, I'm here for you. But I enjoy talking about other stuff, so I'll talk about a bunch of other stuff. All right, so what's been going on lately? Well, we had the Venezuela extraction, whatever you want to call it. So I hear a lot of things going on about that. So this is just my opinion, So, you could take it with a grain of salt or whatever you want to do it, but this is how I feel about the whole situation. Not saying that I'm right, because I'm wrong a lot of times, but I believe that kind of like the Venezuela move by Donald Trump was, we're about to go in, and this is stuff that I've heard from other people. I listen to a lot of other people that I respect, and a lot of their opinions matter to me, but I do have my own life experiences and my own opinions. So if you look at some of my earlier videos, I've talked about how the world is going to be divided up into sectors. So we have regions or sectors or regions eventually. So this may be a power play to start shoring up these regions, and also a line in the sand for the other countries that we don't supposedly get along with. So kind of like, hey, this is my block, you stay on I'm going to stay on my block, you stay on your block. Whatever you do in your block is what you do, as long as it's not affecting me or any type of outrageous stuff going on. That's just my opinion. It could be happening, could not be happening. We don't know. We're just peasants. At least I am. But so, we just Trump just came in and controlled the oil, because Venezuela is a very rich oil country and was a very prosperous country before the so-called president, who Maduro, that wasn't elected but actually just slipped in there, and before that was Chavez, but that kind of just tore the whole country apart and started doing deals with other countries. So let's rewind. Let's rewind back to another conflict we had that I actually took part in a couple times, Iraq. What happened to that person that was in charge there? We took him out, right? Not me, but my government. And I love my country. I've served, and I wouldn't want to be any other place on this world. Just want to get that out of the way, because I love, America. But supposedly that person was selling oil for a different currency, and he got taken out or replaced. There you go. better word to say. And that happened to a couple other people. So the rumor is that this person was doing the same thing with their oil deposits to other countries in different denominations besides the dollar, which was agreed upon that you would. And some of y'all gonna say, "Well, the petrodollar is dead." Well, yeah, you can say what you want to say, but we still have power, and so that may be a reason why. It's all speculative, why he was replaced, or there's some backdoor deals behind the scenes we don't know. We only see what we see. And do you believe everything you see nowadays? Don't believe what anybody says, me included. Do your own research. But now we have the technology to do stuff and create stuff, AI, that we can't even tell if it's real or not. And that's kind of disturbing because you can't believe what you see nowadays. So like some of those videos where he was actually, arrested, some of them may not even be real. So think about that. Some of this is just a big old show. So we'll see what happens over there. I think everything is pre-planned already. I think we're just kind of taking up this sector, this region. We still got a couple of other places to go. Canada, Greenland, Mexico. Who knows? I don't know. We don't know. We don't know what they're talking about. We just know what we do every day, right? Like me, I'm right here working on this stuff today. I'm not at the table sitting with these people and talking about what the moves are and everything. I just hear bits and pieces and try to put it all together and form my opinion. That's one thing I love about America. We can have our own opinion and not worry about saying what we feel. You could be in another country where you don't have that luxury. Speaking of luxuries, on another note, like I said, for the holidays, I hope everybody had a great time and everybody enjoyed family and being with their family and doing that, because that's the most important thing is family, God family, and then just taking care of everybody, because even though you think you have it bad or whatever and you're working and yes, the economy's not that great and some, I feel it. Just remember this, your life is what you have right now is somebody else's dream. Think about that. As bad as you think you have it, somebody else would love to walk, like step in your shoes and take over what you have. So don't take it for granted. Be grateful. And sometimes I get that way. Trust me. I'm like, oh my God, man, it's crazy. It gets harder and harder as we go, but I'm still grateful for everything I have. So back to the Venezuela thing. As we progress forward, we'll see what happens. I don't know about those videos because, if I was just ousted or being arrested, I don't think I'm going to be going, hey, Happy New Year, or it seemed kind of weird to me. It may be nothing, but it just seemed weird how he was just, it was just like, yay, I'm just going to go along, hey. He was limping, so I don't know if that's fabricated or if he did get hurt or whatever, I don't know. And like I said, that's just my opinion. Let's get into the next thing. Well, first I wanted to say a shout out to a couple people that I really admire and respect and I listen to a lot. Well, first I'm going to talk about somebody I really respect and I like him, and I've met him in person, was Jake Claver. Jake Claver is a nice guy. I met him in person at an event here it was an XRP Unleashed event, and we actually talked and with him and Versan, and I've met the I cannot freaking remember his name for anything. The guy, the coffee guy, and him and his wife Judy. Man, they're awesome people. But Jake, I saw so much FUD on Jake. on Jay Claver because of what the bet he made that didn't, come to reality around the time, the time that he actually said it would. Well, I mean, I still believe that what he said will come into reality, but maybe just not on that time frame. But I heard a lot of crap about Jake the Snake, all this crap. I mean, I can't stand that. It's like you don't even know this man, and you're going to go and talk about him. So what? How much do you know about digital assets? How much do you know about what's going on? Obviously, Jake knows a lot of stuff more than me and a lot of other people, but he may not be able to say what some of the stuff that he knows because of NDAs or whatever, some of his clients. So please don't say stuff about somebody you don't know, because I always was taught if you don't have a kind word, you don't have anything good to say about anybody, then don't say anything. Yeah, man, people not right all the time, but so is that enough to go and try to say bad things about Jake and say, hey, he's a snake, blah, 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 he's using it to make money? Man, that's ridiculous. I can't believe people say that. But anyway, Verson, I like Verson. Him and his brother are really nice people. They do a lot of research, and they're very, very versed on blockchain and everything that's going on. Not just blockchain, but other, gold, silver, all that. I'd like to meet them. I'm close to them, but I just can't get all of them. I like them. They're pretty cool. But there was another, influencer that was just talking so much smack about Jake Claver. I couldn't believe it, man. Anyway, let me get off that because I just get really, really disturbed about that. Anyway, let's talk about probably most of the people that watch me like XRP. So I'm not very much, I'm not a tribal. I do like XRP. And the reason why I like XRP because I think it's very important, I can't talk today, very important instrument is because that dang Celsius I drank. But understand this. So many people just don't understand the utility of or what the project is. And I'm not saying I understand everything, but I've been in this for a few years and I've done my research and I still need to learn more. But and after listening to a lot of people, Verson, Dr. Willie, and a couple other people, and back in the days, and putting everything together, I still know 100% of everything. I don't think I'll ever know that. Of course, my phone's gonna ring when I'm doing something. But XRP is a very important instrument. I would say it was going to be, it's like having, and I always try to use analogies, it's like having a motorcycle. I love motorcycles. The carburetor is very important on a motorcycle or any engine, any kind of engine. Can't talk. Carburetor, or maybe in these cars is the brain, actually, the electronic brain, to the financial system. So people are just trying to compare XRP as another speculative asset. They don't know it comes that term, know what you hold, right? It's like you don't know what you hold, you don't know what you hold. All you do is think about, and I see all these content creators, they all talk about all these price, these price predictions and blah, blah, blah. And they say, the TA, and there's nothing wrong with TA, but me for this particular asset or this instrument, project, protocol, whatever you want to call it, it's in a league of its own, actually. And some of your haters are going to be saying, well, nah, you're wrong, Mike, you're wrong. Well, I may be wrong, but how long has it been around and how successful as far as not at a stable price, staying stable, and how much has it increased over a period of time compared to other assets besides Bitcoin? What is the utility value of this particular asset? And I'm not shilling XRP. You can do whatever you want. It's just one of my, if I held anything, I would look at everything and basically choose which ones I want by what it's going to do in the future, not by, because Joe Smo down the road said, oh yeah, this one's going to go sky high. It did this and all this, and the elbow and the moon and the way the stars are aligned and so, and well, me personally, this is just my opinion. I'm going to look at the project. I'm going to look at what it does, what kind of problem does it solve, before I put my hard-earned money into something. And this is not financial advice. You do what you want to do. I'm just talking about me, if I was going to do that, if I even held any of this XRP. And look at the company behind it. That brings me to another comment. People saying, oh, XRP, it's probably going to go down to zero, or it's not going to be used, or okay. Let's look at that statement for a second. So Ripple has spent probably millions of dollars going and building relationships in all different countries, brought a dynamic, back in the days, I don't know, kind of aging myself. Back in the days in basketball, we had a basketball team called the Dream Team that were just probably the best of the best brought together as a team. Well, Ripple built a dream team, okay? David Schwartz, all of them, I mean, Rosie Rios that came from the federal government, signed some of your money you probably held in your pocket. You think she's going to leave that to come over to a fly-by-night company? My point is, Ripple has invested a lot of time, a lot of revenue to set up these certain clients all over the world. And I'm not tooting Ripple's horn because me personally, I don't believe Ripple really cares about us as investors. If I was, and they may be something else. But anyway, and they're going to be a bank. They already got approved, I believe. So for those that say, oh yeah, XRP is going down to zero or whatever, it's not going to be used, all I can say is do your research. Look into that company, and before you open your mouth and stupid stuff comes out, in my opinion, do your research on the actual company that owns it. And I heard some stuff about XLM too. I like XLM, but it has a different use case. It's not, to me, it's from my research, it's not made for banks. It's more made for peer-to-peer or retail or whatever. And it has its own particular project and outcome, which will be used. They go hand in hand. There's a couple other ones. Quant is an overledger, which is kind of interoperability between blockchains. It's not just going to be XLPL. There's going to be a lot of different chains used for different particular projects. It's just, I believe the main one would be for bridging liquidity around the world, and would be XRPL, which will run pretty much liquidity will run all through that on the. I know they use plumbing, but I always use the analogy of a railroad system. So you have all these central banks that are going to use. I really had some mixed feelings about. Are they going to really bring CBDCs, or are they going to rename it? Well, they are going to bring CBDCs, but there's two types of CBDCs. I can't talk. Sorry, guys. You got your wholesale CBDCs, which is used for central banks to move money back and forth. Then you have your retail, which is one that everybody's talking about. They'll control everything you have, blah, blah, blah. And when I say they, I don't know who they are, but they're going to use CBDCs for the banks, for the central banks. So the other, I think for the private sector, as far as like retail and all that, maybe smaller banks and stuff, maybe we're going to go to stable coins, which is basically the same thing as the CBDC, is just from a private sector. Correct me if I'm wrong down below, but I believe so. Still has the same functionality. So they'll be doing that. So, of course, who controls the central banks? I got to say a letter B, a letter I, a letter S. So they control the central banks. They tell the central banks what to do. Do your research. Who am I? I'm just a pest control guy, bee removal guy. So when they set all this up, this is another thing that I learned, and I may be wrong on this too. I want to talk about a lot of conversations I've had and listened to over the years being into this space, especially about the price of XRP. I don't know what the price is going to be, and you don't either. I hate to burst your bubble. I don't care who you are, content creator, so-called experts. You don't know either. You're kind of guessing, just like everybody else. And I've said that a couple times, and some people get upset. I don't care, but so I kind of agree with Dr. Willie as far as the XRP being a set price. And then some people say, well, no, you can't set a price. Nobody can control the price because it's a neutral asset. And I completely understand that statement. But with that said, they can manipulate the price. They cannot show you what it actually is. So you say, well, Mike, the XRP price is actually reflective of the volume that is ran through the system on the utility basis of the XRP, which is correct. It's not speculative, it's more of a utility base. And when utility when it starts to matter more, the price will be reflected on how much is used and how much water is flowing through the pipes. Am I right or wrong? If I'm wrong, I could be wrong, please comment below. Let me know. I don't know everything. But, so let's say, this is just speculative guessing. Let's say, hey, the government wants a set price for XRP because the set price, when you're moving trillions of dollars back and forth, do you want something you're going to move on that's going up and down all the time? Very volatile. Even though with regulations come in, it will stop a lot of that. I hope you all know that, right? As soon as the regulations come in, a lot of these digital assets, the ones that survive, will not fluctuate like that. And there's a pro and there's a con to that. I just want you to understand that. The pro is that you don't have that swing, all y'all swing traders. You don't have that volatility that you have now. You probably have 4 to 6%, just like regular, stocks or something. And the con is you're not going to make as much. You can't make as much on a like we do now on speculative Wild West assets where it goes up 400% in 1 day or 1 hour, So that's the con, I believe. So it'll be more a stable type environment, which is needed when you're moving a lot of liquidity. That particular asset that you're riding on needs to be stable, or the banks are not going to use it. This is just my opinion. I may be wrong. Comment below if I'm wrong. It makes sense to me. Do you think I want to spend $1 trillion on something that's going from $1 to $8 down to $2 to $100 down to $3? No, I'm not going to do that. So that makes sense on the thesis that it may be set at a set price, at a stable price, which you guys will have to admit the people don't like XRP, whatever. When XRP in the last, I don't know how many years, has been sideways and doesn't fluctuate that much. Maybe that's a test. Who could have been a test? Who knows? I don't know. So anyway, back to what I was saying. They can't, for those that say, hey, you know what, you can't change the price, Mike. It's a neutral asset, blah, blah, blah. I get it. but they don't have to show you the real price. Whenever they've been running assets through the water through the pipe, trickling, opening it up little by little, opening that valve up little by little by little by little, but they're not reflecting it on the exchanges or whatever. And some of y'all say, no, they can't do that, Mike. Oh, really? I could say 2 years ago they couldn't. A lot of people said they couldn't do something, and they did, and you stayed home, and you didn't go nowhere, right? Okay. I mean, that's me, little tin hat thing. What, I may be wrong. Comment below. Be nice. So let's say they get it up to, I don't know, I'm just going to throw something out there, 10,000, whatever, based on the volume that's already going through, but we're not seeing it. The volume's going through, right? They're using it. Boom, boom, boom. Chase, all of them are all using it already, but it's not reflecting in the price right now on the exchanges. They say, okay, we got it up to where it's about 10,000. Okay, boom, 10,000. Stays there. Fluctuates maybe a little bit, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not sure how that works. The more they get, the more maybe they'll just jump it by jump. So if they could suppress the price before, they could keep it at 10,000 and continue to use it until it reaches another pricing point, and then release that pricing point like 15,000 until they reach the next pricing point, blah, 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 and then cap it off wherever they want to cap it. This is all speculative. I don't know. I'm just guessing. So there you go. That's how you get a larger, steady XRP predetermined price. And I may be wrong. Comment below. Like I said, who am I? But anyway, that's what I got to say about XRP and the price. Hope everybody's just doing well. And this year, 2026, exciting. A lot of things going to happen. Hopefully the Clarity Act will come through pretty soon. I believe they already know when it's going to come out. It's probably already done already. They're just kind of timing everything. I think everything is timed pretty much. Just my opinion. When it comes to XRP and some of these digital assets. Now, when this comes out, I'm not sure which ones will be around. I just know that if I did invest in this market, I would probably choose projects that already have digital, not digital, that have clarity already somewhat, or has been through the ringer, and not some stuff that's speculative meme coin that doesn't have any use case at all, or any kind of project like dog peeing on a branch or something like that. I mean, I think a lot of those stuffs are going to go away, and you'll have the foundation, just like back in the days. I grew up back in the days when the internet started, and you probably heard this before from a couple other people, but I lived it. Internet, you had Netscape, you had a lot of different AOL, and you used those browsers. Man, it was so hard to use the internet back then. But where are they at now? They're gone. So a few of them, pioneered, but a lot of them went away. So I feel some of this is going to be the same way with these digital assets. A lot of them are going to go away. They may be used a little bit now, but the ones that are actually make it through all the filtering and legal and lawful stuff will probably be remainder. And some other projects in the future will come up, probably better ones that may replace some of these other ones. It's gonna be a wild ride, so y'all need to buckle up. And I know that people always say DCA, do what you can, but don't put yourself out. And you got to live, and you got to take care of your family. So just pretty much what you can get, and make sure you secure it. It doesn't matter to me personally. I think that my opinion is in the future, they're going to know everything you do anyway. Whenever digital IDs come, they know where you got your crypto. They know where you put it. It's like, you got to do it the right way. I mean, who cares? If they know what I have, they know what I have. So they know anyway. So just do it the right way. Pay your taxes, do what you got to do, and then you ain't got to worry about it. And when you start trying to cut corners and try to get around all that stuff, that's that's when it happens. And trust me, I learned this from experience. I've done some stupid stuff in my past and made some bad choices, and I had to basically live those the consequences of my choices that I made. But I learned from them. So this is kind of getting into more of my belief system. But I believe in helping people and trying to teach people too at the same time. You got to learn from your mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, you don't grow. So you got to, you got to fail forward. So I'm still failing. I'm still trying to learn from my mistakes. Some of them, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But anyway, that's all I got for you today. I just wanted to touch base. I don't really make a lot of videos, but just want to address a couple of those things. And I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all on the next video. Take care.